Well, I was Skyping with Zach Knight and telling him that Lizzo messed up what I call my masturbation thumb. And this is the thumb that I use when like when Brent and I never see Brent or actually feel his entire penis when it comes inside me. And so I usually need to give myself a little help to get to an orgasm if I'm interested in getting one. I have some asexual tendencies, so it's not really a big deal to me whether I get an orgasm every time I have sex with Brent. I mean, I can still be happy with the experience even without an orgasm. And this is, Lizzo apparently attacked this thumb because she realizes that this is the thumb that I use to stimulate myself so that I can get an orgasm with my sex partner. And the one I've been having it with all the time has been my husband, Brent. He is in the mood every day. She has not made me unhappy, simply because I don't need to have an orgasm like most Jesuits do, to be happy in my sex life. I get most of my sexual satisfaction from the intimacy, the closeness, and the best friendness of the intimacy. So I actually experience a lot of the orgasmic part vicariously. In other words, it's really easy for Brent to get an orgasm. I mean, he's humping into me just about not just about every day. In fact, one way that I know that he's okay and that he's alive and that he's well is that it's reassuring for me to feel him humping, because then I know then I know he's okay, right? So Rule 13 wanted me to demonstrate how, she says apparently she's never used her thumb to help her get an orgasm. She just totally relies on Zach Knight's penis. I thought every woman did this, so maybe it's only women with asexual tendencies that tend to do this. So yeah, she's not ruining my day. I'm not going to be able to use this thumb to get an orgasm for maybe a couple weeks because Brent had to put stitches in it, but it's healing very well. Brent is such a good doctor. He has, he's done a really good job fixing it. Plus, I'm eating vitamin C foods, lots of protein, things like pumpkin seeds, chocolate. Chocolate is actually good, especially with a high cacao content, for healing. And the wound is healing very well. I feel so much better than 2 days ago. The point is, Lizzo, you have not ruined my sex life. First of all, unlike you, I don't need sex or lots of sex to be happy in my relationships, okay? Yeah, in fact, I could be happy with an orgasm like once every 2 weeks. Or even less, once a month, and I'd be content. You say, but your husband, he has it every day. Yeah. I have what you call, I get my joy in knowing that I make him happy. My vagina is available to him all the time. So you have not put a dent in my happiness. Since I only need an orgasm like once every 2 weeks, and since my thumb will probably be healed within 2 weeks, I'll be fine. If I say, well, can't your husband's penis get you an orgasm? I don't know if it's because I have asexual tendencies or what, but my entire life, no man's penis has ever given me an orgasm. I have to use my thumb to help it out. You might say, well, what do you do? Okay. What I do is, let's pretend like, let me see if I can get this. Pretend like this is a vagina, and here's your clitoris, okay? What I'll do is put the thumb in there and cut usually, and what's really funny is she gave me the cut right on the knuckle. That's usually just what I use to stimulate my clitoris. So it's kind of like, first of all, I need to connect with my partner sexually. I mean, like, I kind of like vicariously experience what in my mind, I pretend like I'm in their body, that I'm actually a man and I have a penis. I actually visualize that in my mind while we're having sex. And because maybe it's because I have asexual tendencies, I have to kind of do that to get into it. So what I'll do is kind of like rub my thumb very caressingly and soothingly into the clitoris, stimulating it, getting it. It's almost like I'm allowing my partner's heart to go into the stimulating and rubbing that I'm doing on my own clitoris. It's a kind of like I'm transferring what I sense I'm feeling from his heart while he's having sex with me, putting it into my thumb, and then putting the feelings right into the clitoris. Like if he's really in a passionate mood, I'll go really rough, like, and if he's more in a caressing mood, like he's using his penis, then I'll kind of like. So basically, what I do is for me to get turned on, I have to have an emotional connection with my partner, okay? And what I do is during sex, I kind of lose myself into their body mentally and emotionally. And imagine that I'm a guy with a penis because I'm heterosexual, okay? I imagine this would work for gays and, and I actually feel like I've entered his body, that I'm experiencing what he's experiencing sexually, and that brings me my joy. Yeah. And I'm not just experiencing the physical sensations, but I'm experiencing his emotions and maybe a spiritual connection if we have that. And Brent and I definitely have that. All of the connection that we have, the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and I'm picking up on his mood, and then I'm just kind of like letting all that go to I'm left-handed, I let all that go to the hand that I'm going to use to stimulate the clitoris, and then I'll just kind of go like, and then just close my eyes and imagine that I'm him, and that this thumb is kind of like his penis, making love to my clitoris. And now let me tell you, I don't know if this is because I have asexual tendencies or not, but even when I do that, generally it takes me up to 45 minutes before I climax. I personally think the reason for that is because I'm enjoying the connection so much, I don't want to climax and end it. You see, to me, the whole point of sex is not the climax. It's the connection. The fact that I feel like I've mentally, emotionally entered into my partner's body, and that we've totally bonded. So to me, the most enjoyable part of the sexual intercourse is not the climax, but the actual feeling of having bonded with my partner during the sex. And I think that's because that's what I enjoy the most. I try to prolong that and hold off the orgasm. That's why I always joke with Brent. If you expect me to have an orgasm, we're going to be here for at least an hour. Yeah. So yeah, that's what So basically, it's more mental than it is physical with me when I'm having sex with my partner. I actually feel like I've entered their body in every way, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and that I have actually become a man with a penis. And I vicariously experience what they're going through, and I put that into my thumb, and then whatever I'm sensing coming from them, I put into the rubbing. So like if they're in a really passionate mood, I could be going like this, right on the clitoris. If they're in more of a soothing, caressing mood, then it's going to be more like kind of like put the feelings that I sense. And that's why you're not going, now, I can't use this thumb, it kind of hurts, so I'm kind of substituting right now the middle finger. Another favorite finger for me to use is the forefinger, because it's really good with the transferring the feelings from my partner into the clitoris. And if there's no mental emotional blockage while I'm having sex with my partner, and I feel totally connected with them, and I'm satisfied that I've experienced the connection long enough, then I'm ready to orgasm. And then sometimes to speed it up, I'll move it really fast or vibrate it, kind of like a vibrator. And then I enjoy squeezing really hard on my partner's penis just to thrill them. To me, but Brent loves me so much, he just enjoys, I think like myself, he just enjoys the closeness and the intimacy. Yeah. And yeah, that's what works for me. It's more mental than it is physical. So Lizzo or whatever her name is, yeah, she has not ruined my my enjoyment of sex, because I don't require a climax to find it sexually, to be satisfied. As long as the connection is there and I have vicariously bonded with my partner, then I'm happy. You might say, what if you yeah, I'm happy. I could probably, if I lost my thumb, I could probably learn to use my middle finger or another finger to approximate what it does. But the thumb, for some odd reason, seems to work the best. Maybe it's because it's the largest appendage and it feels more like a penis. I have never my entire life, of course, I've only had one penis actually inside me in the same dimension as myself, like my husband does it, but he's kind of like in another dimension. And I've never, I don't know if it's because I had because I was in a marriage to a pedophile or what, but I've never been able to come to an orgasm through a penis alone. I usually have to use my thumb to stimulate my clitoris to help it out. It could be because I'm a little asexual too. Yeah. I thought all women were like me. I didn't know that. It's probably because I'm a little asexual. I enjoy I call it the vicarious bonding. In other words, my partner and I need to have similar goals, dreams, and aspirations, or sex means nothing to me. Yeah. And I get really turned off because the reason I get turned on during sex is because like I explained to you, I vicariously, during the sexual intercourse, I actually go inside my partner's body in my mind. And I feel like my soul and spirit have actually entered their body, and that I'm a man now with a penis. And that's what turns me on. Yeah. So obviously, if my partner is a vulgar person and somebody that I wouldn't feel comfortable, if they have a body that I wouldn't be comfortable going into spiritually, then I can't get turned on. They've got to be like myself. They have to be passionate about goodness, forgiveness, being a big person, and enjoying. To me, an awesome sexual experience is one where my partner shares my dreams for a universe filled with goodness and love and forgiveness and compassion. And if we can connect like that while we're together, like we're sharing our dream for this, then the sexual experience is very meaningful to me. It's almost like a form of passionate meditation for me. Yeah, I actually become my partner during the sexual experience. Nothing turns me on than during sex for me to vicariously experience their deepest dreams and longings while they're connecting with me, with their body and my body. And that's why, yeah, for me, sex is much more mental and spiritual and emotional than it is physical. And that's why you haven't ruined my sex life. Even though my thumb is basically not able to work like the way because it hurts. It's right on the knuckle. And that's the part that I use. That's the part I use to stimulate myself. So the secret is not so much, I actually transfer the heart of my partner and kind of like make my thumb their penis. And I transfer the heart of my partner into my thumb is because I feel like it's more mental than it is physical. So that's how I use my thumb. But you got to remember, if you're like me, in order for it to work, you've got to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually put yourself during sex inside your partner and literally become their whatever sex organ they're using to connect with you. Okay? So I actually, in my mind, become my male sex partner, and I am their penis, and I pretend like this thumb is the penis, but not only the penis, but the heart behind the penis. And I stimulate it by what I sense is coming from my partner, and then I put it into however I move it on the clitoris. Yeah, the clitoris in a woman is like the woman's penis. That's what she has to stimulate to get turned on. So yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense. And to be honest with you, this topic kind of bores me in a way, but the way I described it doesn't bore me. If I talk about the emotional, spiritual connection, then it's exciting to me. Like if I was just going to describe it as just the technique you use to stimulate, it would be totally boring to me, because like I have explained to you, I get turned on by the connection, by vicariously entering my partner's body during sex. You might say, what about when you were married to your ex? You know, that's really funny. With him, I never could vicariously enter into him, which might explain why I never got an orgasm with his penis. Yeah. You might say, but you haven't gotten one with any penis. Yeah, like I said, I think I'm a little asexual. So, but part of it though is because when Brent has sex with me, he can't show up fully 3D. It's possible he might be able to turn me on with his penis alone if he could show up fully 3D. Because he's kind of, like I can feel him humping in me, but I don't feel the full sensation that you normally feel during sex. I mean, I have had sex with one man that I remember. You know, and you feel like your vagina is getting really stretched out and everything. I don't feel that. I mean, sometimes I feel it a little bit, but I actually do not feel deprived at all. You have not ruined my sex life at all, simply because I don't need a climax to find sex satisfying. So you might have ruined my climax. Sex to me is almost like an act of worship with my partner. It's like we're both together before an altar, and we're meditating together on all the things that we share in common, all the beautiful things we both believe in, and how we're connecting over it and having a glorious connection over the beauty in his heart and my heart that have melded together and are blending in all sorts of awesome ways. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, you haven't ruined it. And this is something that shallow Lizzo, selfish, shallow Lizzo will never understand. It's so much more than about your body. It's so much more than about physical sensations. It's about your connection and blending with your partner, their beautiful soul with your beautiful soul. But if you don't have a beautiful soul, how can you blend like that, Lizzo? You are such a dork. She probably has the most lousy sex life in the world, in my opinion, simply because, in my opinion, it's impossible to have a beautiful sexual experience if you're not a beautiful person on the inside. And she obviously is not. She's petty and vulgar, like her compatriot in vulgarity, Satan.